Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, and there is lots of other things to talk about. So as you've seen, I've done two videos today. I did my last Man United preview earlier on, and also I give you the news regarding Paul Pogba this morning. So now we will delve into some of the transfer news. So I've just been reading recent reports, and it does say that Manchester United are planning a double transfer swoop for Jack Grealish and Jude Bellingham, and reportedly they will cost us in the excess of around £100 million. So Jack Grealish will cost us around £70 million, and Jude Bellingham would cost us in the excess of around £30 million. Now, I have been keeping up to date, of the news that's been coming out regarding Jude Bellingham. Obviously, it did confirm on Monday that Jude Bellingham had come to visit our Carrington training ground. He did, have negotiations with Sir Alex Ferguson, did Jude Bellingham. And obviously, Ferguson, has tried to persuade him to sign for Manchester United this summer. Now, he's give his overarching view on, his tour at Carrington, and he said it was really good to meet with Sir Alex Ferguson, did Jude Bellingham, and I think he did really like it, and that it still remains uncertain where he will go when he does leave Birmingham, Jude Bellingham. Of course, as well, don't forget his parents had negotiations with our executives, did Jude Bellingham. So I don't think he's Premier League standard at the moment. Like I mentioned before, I think he needs at least another season in the Championship, because this is Jude Bellingham's first season in the Championship at the moment. Don't forget he became the youngest player to ever represent Birmingham, because he made his senior debut at the age of 16 years and 38 days. He has been a consistent starter though for Birmingham. I think he's played in around 35 games this season. Jude Bellingham has not yet signed his professional contract. I think he's set to sign his professional contract this summer. As it stands at the moment, Jude Bellingham is on around 145 quid a week, but he is only at the age of 16, so he is still inexperienced at the moment. But so he did fuel a lot of speculation up when he came to Carrington on Monday. But don't forget, we went in for Jude Bellingham back in the January transfer window. We put around the £30 million bidding for him, and a few other clubs have expressed their interest. Now it's saying, Chelsea are in for Jude Bellingham. Also, too, Liverpool are now in for him. Borussia Dortmund have also expressed their interest in the player and that. So I think he's one player that Manchester United are going to go for in the summer. He's predominantly number 10. But he can also play Jude Bellingham as a winger. So yeah, he's one player on Manchester United's agenda. But we're looking to make around 3 or 4 signings this summer, because Solskjaer believes we need around 3 signings to become title challengers this summer. And he has revealed that he wants to get our transfer business done as soon as possible, rather than wait until the summer. With Jack Grealish, like I mentioned, I think he's one of our number 1 priority targets for the summer, is Jack Grealish. Obviously, reports were coming out recently saying that Manchester United are determined to pay up to £70 million for Jack Grealish. Obviously, Jack Grealish is only at the age of 24. Like I mentioned, he's predominantly an attacking midfielder. Occasionally, does play as a winger, but predominantly an attacking midfielder. Up until this point, Jack Grealish has spent the entirety of his career with Aston Villa, but he did have a loan spell with Notts County. Now, reports have been emerging out saying that Jack Grealish is set to make his England debut for the Euros. Obviously, we want to get a deal finalised as soon as possible for Jack Grealish. Now, if Aston Villa were to avoid relegation this season, like I mentioned before, it'd cost us probably around £70 million. If Villa were to get relegated though, it'd probably cost us less than £70 million would Jack Grealish. But I think he did say before, if he is to leave Aston Villa, his preference would be a move to Manchester United. He did say the other week, if he is to leave Villa, he's demanding that he wants around £150,000 a week. He has no buyout clause inserted. He has got around 3 years left on his contract, because he's under contract with Villa until 2023. Don't forget, back in the summer of 2018, Tottenham were very close to getting him, but they didn't get him. I think they'd put around the £25 million bidding for him. Madrid, I think also too, City were in for Jack Grealish before. But, we're basically seeing him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, but now Paul Pogba, may now be staying at Manchester United. But Jack Grealish alongside Bruno Fernandes in our midfield, would look very, very good because they complement each other fantastically well in our midfield. And, like I mentioned with Bruno Fernandes, he's making a difference in the team. He's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career as Bruno Fernandes. He's already scored 3 goals. He's also provided 3 assists. And Solskjaer's been urged to build a team around Bruno Fernandes. But, he's definitely, one of the best players that we've signed, probably since the Alex Ferguson era. And we have recruited over 30 players since the Ferguson era and spent a hell of a lot of money over the years. We've seen players come in, and of course we have seen players go. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes is the one that seems to be making the difference in the team. So that's the news on Grealish. So if we had to get Grealish and Bellingham, they're going to cost us £100 million. Now I've got some news as well regarding Jadon Sancho. Some more narratives in the media have updated about him. Now the Borussia Dortmund chef, he's come out and he's basically said, if Jadon Sancho wants to leave Borussia Dortmund, he says he will negotiate it with Jadon Sancho. He believes that Jadon Sancho does want to leave Borussia Dortmund. Now, a number of clubs have expressed their interest in Jadon Sancho. Obviously, my club, Man United, have been in for him. We've been relentlessly linked to him. Don't forget, we was in for Jadon Sancho last year. The main explanation why we didn't get him last year is with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. Chelsea, Liverpool, Real Madrid, they've all expressed their interest in Jadon Sancho. Now, Sky in Germany confirmed the other week, they did confirm that, Jadon Sancho is expected to leave Borussia Dortmund at the end of the season. This is what, it basically said. Now, of course, it has been revealed how much Jadon Sancho will cost. It will cost at minimum £100 million because Dortmund have quoted out that they want at least 100 million. Maybe it could cost even £120 million. But we actually want to get a £120 million deal over the line before the European Championships for Jadon Sancho. Now, some people say we need qualification for the Champions League anyway to get Jadon Sancho on the board. But yeah, he's now into his 3rd season with Borussia Dortmund, and like I mentioned, he has been dropped in a lot of games this season as Jadon Sancho, but in his 2 previous seasons, he has been a revelation, to be fair. I think Sancho has like 31 goals in 89 games for Borussia Dortmund. He's still got a contract with them until 2022, so we get him on the board. He'll be our most expensive signing. He'll be a record signing in the Premier League, and it will be one of our highest paid players, because reportedly Jadon Sancho, I think, wants around £200,000 a week, or Man United are determined to give him around £200,000 a week. Dortmund will look at it from a financial point of view, and they'll go, look, he's an imperative player, but we can find an adequate replacement for him, plus we're going to make a huge profit on the player, because basically they got him for next to nothing from Man City. They only paid around £7 or £8 million for him from Manchester City. And the beneficial thing also is that, he's played in the Premier League. He served a couple of years at Man City, but never really got assured any first-team opportunities at Manchester City. So that's the main explanation why he's left City to join Borussia Dortmund. But I think he's our number 1 priority target for the summer, is Jadon Sancho. Obviously, there's still deficiencies in the squad that need to be addressed, and I think Solskjaer's come out and identified the areas where he thinks Man United need to strengthen up. We need a centre-forward. Obviously, we've got Rashford injured. He could be out for the rest of the season, could Marcus Rashford, unfortunately. There was reports circulating out of the media the other week saying that he could be available for the Euros. He has got a back injury, Rashford, but you've got to say he has been a big miss. Obviously, I know we've got Odion Ighalo in. Solskjaer did recently make an admission on Ighalo, and he did actually say that we could make his transfer permanent. He's also enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. 3 goals in 2 starts for the football club, and he's highly experienced, and he's an option of a different type of centre forward like Solskjaer was saying, and he is the vocal point, is Odion Ighalo. So revert back to what I said, he's a very, very good cover up for Rashford, but Solskjaer still wants to bring a centre forward in. He wants to bring a right winger in, and of course he does want to bring at least 1 midfielder in and that. So yeah, so that's the latest on the transfer news. Obviously, I think a lot of United fans, including me, are very convinced that we can get qualification for the Champions League for next season. because, you know, we are 5th in the Premier League now and we are only 3 points behind Chelsea. And realistically, you know, we should be in that top 4 because, you know, we have dropped a lot of points this season. But looking at it on the other hand, we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season ever. But yet, you know, we are still in that top 4 race. So I'm very convinced we can get qualification for the Champions League. You know, and if we are to get qualification for the Champions League, then I do probably believe we will be determined then to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer another season at Manchester United, because this is his first full season at the football club at the moment. Don't forget the Europa League. That's another route to Champions League qualification. We're emerged as one of the favourites to win the Europa League. And don't forget, it's a chance for us getting some silverware on the board. The FA Cup's also a chance for us getting some silverware on the board, because we haven't won out in terms of silverware under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yet. And like I mentioned, you know, he has been at the football club over a year. But we are in a good run of form now. We are unbeaten in our last 10 games in all competitions. I think, you know, we're enjoying our best run of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. In this 10-game unbeaten period, you know, we have won 7 of them. We have drawn 3. We've, I think, scored 24 goals. We've only conceded 2, and we have kept 8 clean sheets. So we are keeping a lot of clean sheets recently. So that's also a positive. I also put into the equation that we've done really, really well against elite opposition this season. I think we've registered like 17 points against elite opposition this season. Of course, we had a fantastic win against Manchester City at the weekend, beating them by 2-0 at Old Trafford. It was goals from Anthony Martial. Fernandes had got the assist, and the second goal was from McTominay. McTominay had scored from 40 yards out. But very, very good win it was against City, and I've got to credit Solskjaer. He deserves a lot of credit recently, to be fair, and like I've mentioned on my other videos, I credit him when he deserves to be credited, but I criticise him when he deserves to be criticised, because me and a lot of Manchester United fans this season have criticised Solskjaer, definitely in that. And some United fans will have different perceptions on him now. You know, some will say give him another season, and some will say in for now, but he's not the long-term solution. And some people stick to what they said before. They still want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the football club. But yeah, Solskjaer, you know, has beaten Pep Guardiola 3 times now as a manager. We've played City 4 times this season. We've beaten them 3 times out of 4. They've beaten us once. And it was the first time we've done the double over Manchester City in the Premier League since 2010. So that was back under the Alex Ferguson era. Solskjaer's records also been... it's also been very, very good against Chelsea. He's overcome Frank Lampard 3 times as Solskjaer. Also too, he's beaten Chelsea in total 4 times since he became Manchester United manager. Obviously, you know, he's beaten Tottenham twice as a manager. You know, drew with Liverpool earlier on in the season. Beaten PSG, of course. That was, the game against City last weekend was his most iconic moment as manager, but before that, it was that PSG game that was his most iconic moment as manager, definitely in that. So we have had some, you know, good results under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but there has been some games, you know, where Manchester United should have won. You know, we have been poor against a lot of lower opposition. You know, that's what slatted Manchester United down. But I do probably believe going on into next season, you know, we should enjoy a better season next season than what we've seen, you know, this season. Obviously, last season wasn't good for us because last season we finished 6th and we failed to, you know, win any silverware last season. But it is a transition period, and Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year he's hopeful that we can get through this transition period. But if Solskjaer is to be given another season at the football club, then, you know, he knows that, you know, he'll have many expectations to exceed. But the question is, do you feel as though that the expectations are too high for him? Do you think he's good enough at the top level as a manager? You know, maybe not, but, you know, we shall see. But yeah, we've been in a good run of form recently, you know, which is very, very good to see. Now, obviously, like you saw my preview earlier on for the last Manchester United game. That is tomorrow, 5 to 6 kickoff in the UK. I can't pronounce Lask Stadium, to be quite honest with you. It's really hard to pronounce. But yeah, the first leg is away from home, and the second leg is at Old Trafford on the 19th of March. I'm very convinced that Manchester United will progress into the last 8 of the competition. Now, like I said to you on my video I did earlier on today, I don't really know much about Lask, to be quite honest with you. The only things I do know about them is that they are sitting top of the Austrian League. It's looking likely now they are going to win the Austrian League for the first time since 1965, so that's around 55 years ago now. And also too, I know that they got founded back in 1908, which is 112 years ago now. As it's been confirmed, well, Lask Linz have actually confirmed this themselves, that, you know, this game between Lask and Man United will be played behind closed doors because of the coronavirus. So this means there will be no spectators at the game. Around 900 Manchester United fans have purchased tickets, but obviously, you know, they are going to get refunded. Also, too, we've seen the Manchester City and Arsenal game get called off. That's because I think the Olympiacos owner, you know, has got that coronavirus, and I think he's been near a couple of Arsenal players. But a lot of games are getting called off globally due to the coronavirus, you know, but that's just how it is, basically. But yeah, I can see Manchester United comfortably beating Lask. Like I mentioned, we progressed to the last 16 in the competition by beating Club Brugge in the previous round by 5-0. It was 1-1 in the first leg, so it was 6-1 overall on aggregate. And obviously, Lask Linz, they progressed to the last 16 of the competition by beating AZ Alkmaar in the previous round. But this is the first ever competitive meeting between Lask and Manchester United, which means is that we've never ever played them before in our history. It's their first ever encounter with an English team, Lask, so, you know, it'll be a good, you know, it'll be a good occasion for them. And, you know, we've actually, you know, never lost to an Austrian opposition in the European competition. But our record in the Europa League is very, very good. I think we've only lost one of our last 19 matches in all competitions in the Europa League. I do, like Solskjaer, I do presume Solskjaer will be making changes from our 2-0 win against Manchester City. Obviously, Tottenham is on the horizon, so I do believe Solskjaer will rest maybe a couple of key players for the game against Tottenham, because Tottenham is going to be a tough test, even though Tottenham have been in a bad vein of form recently. And obviously Jose Mourinho is under a lot of pressure. So yeah, so Solskjaer, I think, has just done his press conference building up to the game against Lask. I haven't really watched, you know, the press conference, to be quite honest with you. We have got some news though on Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial. We'll start with Paul Pogba, then we'll delve into the topic of Anthony Martial. So Solskjaer did confirm that, you know, Paul Pogba is close now to returning for Manchester United, but now he's just indicated out that Paul Pogba may not be fit for the game against Tottenham this Sunday. Now, it has confirmed, I'll put Martial into the equation, that today Pogba and Anthony Martial have both missed training. I don't really know the main explanation why they've missed training. It's just confirmed that Pogba and Anthony Martial have missed training. But either way, I think Pogba's still close to returning. Pogba's only played 8 games this season for Manchester United. His appearances have been limited due to his injuries. The last game he played was Boxing Day. The last time he started a game from the start was back in September. There was reports saying earlier on today and yesterday that Paul Pogba could be available for selection for tomorrow's game against Lask. Now, there's been positivity in relation to Paul Pogba. You know, he's been coming out saying that now he wants to commit his long-term future in Manchester United. Pogba's come out and said, you know, he wants to stay at the football club. The main explanation why he wants to stay at the football club is because of Bruno Fernandes, because he believes he can form a partnership with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. And I think, you know, they would complement each other fantastically well. And Pogba has revealed that, you know, he's interested in extending his contract at the football club. At the moment, Pogba's got 2 years left on his contract. Well, it is a year, but there's an option of a further year, so that makes it 2 years. You know, and he's on around 290 grand a week, is he, on his current deal at the moment. If he was to sign a new contract, Paul Pogba, he probably, you know, would earn it in the region of around £400,000 a week. So that would make him the highest paid player at Manchester United. I don't think Real Madrid are no longer in for him now anywhere. Don't forget Real Madrid were relentlessly linked to him last summer. Also, too, There's been a lot of rumours of him possibly making a return back to Turin because he did enjoy 4 good years in Turin with Juventus. Obviously, PSG have been in for him. But it wasn't too long ago that Paul Pogba told his teammates that he does want to leave Manchester United this summer. He's obviously been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. Obviously, this year he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Last summer he was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Under the Jose Mourinho era, he was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. And now that he's made a decision on his future, that long-running transfer saga now should come to a conclusion. It'll come to a conclusion if Manchester United can extend his contract. And Solskjaer did actually say that he was set to hold negotiations with Paul Pogba regarding his future at the football club. But yeah, but I think it did say if we were to sell him this summer, we quoted out that we want minimum £100 million for Paul Pogba. So it would be important to obviously get more than what we paid for him because, we did pay £89 million for the player. So as it stands at the moment, Paul Pogba is our most expensive signing at the football club. But I want to confirm to you anyway that earlier on this week, Pogba was back in training because Solskjaer did say last week that, he would have been returning to training this week. So won't be available for last and probably won't be available for the game against Tottenham, according to Solskjaer. Now, the news on Anthony Martial, he's missed training as Anthony Martial. I've got to give Martial a lot of credit because, he's recently rejuvenated himself as Anthony Martial. So, actually, now, with him missing training, it probably, will be Odi Nagalo and Mason Greenwood up top in this game against Lask. And it'd be interesting to see, how, they complement each other, Odi Nagalo and Mason Greenwood. Anthony Martial, he's done well since he's come back and he has sustained quite a few injuries this season for Man United. Martial now is into his, 5th season at the football club, He scored over 660 goals in 200 odd appearances since he joined from Monaco back in 2015. I think he's on 16 goals this season for Manchester United. He's Anthony Martial and that. But he's had some bad spells as a Man United player because before he has received a lot of criticism. He has been playing in the number 9 role this season. Even though he does predominantly play out on the left-hand side. And maybe we do need to revert him back to the left-hand side, to be quite honest with you. So, he also missed training, did Anthony Martial. Yes, he did. Like I mentioned, we've got some players now that have come back from injury, which is very, very good news. Obviously, Bay's just recently come back, and I think he'll be involved in this game. And I think Bay's done really, really well since he's come back from injury, to be fair, for Man United. Bay's done well. Diego Dalot sustained quite a few injuries this season. We know Lee Grant's a long-term absentee. Rashford's a long-term absentee. I think Fosu Mentu is close to returning. I've also got to give a lot of credit to Luke Shaw because I think Luke Shaw's done really, really well since he's come back because Luke Shaw was out for 2 months with injury earlier on in the season, but he's come back and proven everybody wrong. And like I mentioned, a lot of people have been critical of Luke Shaw with his record of injuries he's had because he's had a lot of injuries. He had a lot of injuries at Southampton. Obviously, he's poor on a form, but since he's come back, he's done really, really well as Luke Shaw. So I've got to give him a lot of credit. So he should be involved in this game. Romero will be in goal against Lask because he tends to play in the cup games like I mentioned. So David De Gea will be rested for this game. Yes, he will. I do believe that Fred will keep his place in the team against Lask because Fred has definitely rejuvenated himself. Fred has been absolutely sensational for us recently. He's done really, really well. And whether he plays alongside Matic and McTominay, we are getting, whoever he plays alongside, we seem to be getting the best out of Fred now. When we got him under Jose Mourinho, he wasn't so good because, let's be honest, he never really got the opportunities under Jose Mourinho, did Fred. Of course, we paid £58 million for Fred. McTominay should keep his place in the team because I know he was injured early on in the season, but he's done really, really well since he has come back as Scott McTominay, so you've got to give him a lot of credit. I think also Matic will be involved in this game because, he's also done really, really well for the football club. Matic did really, really well when McTominay was out, because Matic is a backup to Fred and McTominay, but you've got to give Matic, a hell of a lot of credit recently in that. So there's a hell of a lot of players that have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance, definitely. Brandon Williams, maybe he'll play some part in this game. I've been very, very impressed with him this season. We've got a few young players that are in their first seasons in the senior squad. Obviously, Greenwood's in his first season in the senior squad, so too is Williams. I think James Garner's in his first season in the senior squad. But yes, so he could also, play some part in the game. Do you think Solskjaer will stick with a 3-5-2, or do you think he'll revert back to the 4-2-3-1? We know that Solskjaer's been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation on a regular basis this season, but it doesn't really seem to suit our standards, like I've mentioned. I think we look much more expansive with three at the back. With three at the back, we look more expansive, but we seldom go with that. Solskjaer maybe believes in his own perception it's beneficial to go with a 3-5-2 against an elite opposition, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, he will definitely, make some changes, will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But games are coming up thick and fast for us, so we'll be making a lot of rotation anyway. I do think we'll beat Tottenham on Sunday because, like I mentioned, Tottenham are really, really struggling. They drew with Burnley in their last league game. They lost 3-0 to RB Leipzig. So Tottenham are now out of the Champions League. They're out of the Champions League, are Tottenham. So they can't win out in terms of silverware this season. Tottenham will just have to hope now that they can finish either 5th or they can finish 4th to get qualification for the Champions League. Reports have been coming out saying if Tottenham do fail to qualify for Europe, Jose Mourinho will only have £58 million to spend this summer. That's if he is still Tottenham manager. But like I've mentioned, I think Jose Mourinho is finished at the top level of management. He is finished at the top level of management, yeah. You can't take anything away from him. He's got a very, very good pedigree as Jose Mourinho. He's won around 25 major honours in his managerial career, but he's past it now. And like I mentioned before, Tottenham made a mistake by getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino. They shouldn't have ever got rid of him. But yeah, I think we are going to beat Tottenham. If we beat Tottenham, that will be the 3rd time Solskjaer's beaten them as a manager. And it will be the 2nd time he had beaten Jose Mourinho, because he's already beaten Mourinho once on Sunday. Jose Mourinho will be reuniting with Manchester United. And that. So yeah, so that's all that news to update you on that. Like I mentioned, I do expect departures this summer. I expect Manchester United to get rid of around 4 or 5 players this summer. I think Phil Jones will definitely leave Manchester United, because he doesn't even get in the team, does Phil Jones. He has been a long-serving player at the football club. And we've still got a lot of centre-halves in the team, despite the fact that Smalling went. There's, Bay, there's Lindelof and Maguire, who are first-choice centre-halves. There's Fosu Mensah, there's Tuan Zebe. So we have got a hell of a lot of centre-halves in the team. But Phil Jones does need to be moved on. I think we'll also, too, probably get rid of Jesse Lingard, because he has received a lot of criticism as Jesse Lingard, and he doesn't get in the team enough now anyway, does Jesse Lingard, because obviously with the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. Neither does Andres Pereira. He doesn't get in the team now enough, so I think that duo should be moved on in the summer. And like I said regarding Jesse Lingard, reflects on his status and the number of years he's been at Manchester United, he should be putting much more better performances out. I think Lingard has got just under 16 months left on his current contract at Manchester United, so I do believe we need to move them on. Maybe Angel Gomez will be moved on, because I don't think Angel Gomez is getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. The vast majority of his performances have come in the Europa League. And David De Gea, do you think he will leave in the summer? There has been a lot of narratives in the mainstream media saying that David De Gea could leave Manchester United this summer, and he actually could go to Real Madrid. I think if De Gea was to leave Manchester United, he would make a return back to Spain, because he's from Spain, like I mentioned, all of that. His family's from Spain, and his relatives are from Spain. PSG and Juventus, I think, have expressed their interest in him, but would generate a substantial amount for his departure if we did sell him in the summer. He did say a couple of days ago in the media that Real Madrid were preparing to put around a £70 million bidding for David De Gea. David De Gea has received a lot of criticism recently because he has been making quite a lot of calamitous mistakes. He's now into his 9th season at the football club, he's David De Gea. But I think he's enjoyed a good six and a half years out of the 8 years he's been at the football club. He's won everything here domestically. He's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the past 5 or 6 seasons. And, Solskjaer gave his overarching view, and he did say that David De Gea is still regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Obviously, David De Gea could lose his place in the team reportedly when Dean Henderson does come back on his from his loan spell with Sheffield United. Obviously, he's done really, really well in his loan spell with Sheffield United, and to be fair, he hasn't been a revelation as Dean Henderson, and the club made the right decision by, putting him out on loan because it's gained Dean Henderson more experience, so that's also very, very good to see. Romero's our second choice goalkeeper. We've got Lee Grant, but he's seldom played, since his arrival from Stoke back in summer of 2018. So De Gea's another one that could be moved on in the summer. But a lot of players have left anyway since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Obviously, around 9 senior players have left the football club. But like I mentioned, we do expect more departures than that. But yeah, like I mentioned, we're back to what I said. We're in a good run of form right now. And it's very, very good to see that we're in a good run of form. Very, very good to see. And, if Manchester United were to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think, we'd probably recommend Richie or Pochettino in, because obviously, Pochettino's been relentlessly linked with a managerial role at Manchester United. And don't forget, Pochettino's recently come out and said he does want a return to management. He actually said after his sacking from Tottenham, he wanted an immediate return to management, did Pochettino and that. But, he's obviously, being linked. Real Madrid have been relentlessly linked to him. Barcelona went in for him at one point when they sacked Ernesto Valverde. There's been talks about him possibly reuniting with Tottenham. But if Pochettino was to come to Manchester United, we'd wait until the end of the season so we could avoid paying any compensation. Obviously, there's been also a lot of narratives about him possibly going to Manchester City, Mauricio Pochettino. But I think we'll probably give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer another season at the football club, because it does take some managers time to settle in. Prime example, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United. But look what he went and accomplished after not winning out in his first 4 years. We won the vast majority of our silverware under Alex Ferguson. So we had 26... He enjoyed 26, 27 years at Man United. We had 20 odd years of success under him. I still can't see Solskjaer invoking his legacy. Jurgen Klopp didn't, settle in straight away at Liverpool. But we don't want to persistently keep sacking managers, because it's not always the right solution. And Manchester United are not really known for the sacking club. We have sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. We sacked David Moyes. The lowest we finished in the league was under David Moyes, because we finished 7th. We didn't get any qualification for the Champions League under Moyes. Obviously, Louis van Gaal. We won the FA Cup under him, but his philosophy wasn't right for the club. Wasn't good enough under him. And Jose Mourinho, he enjoyed 2.5 years at Manchester United. Won 2 trophies in his first season, and he obviously, of course, got us second place. But again, Mourinho wasn't good enough. So we have had different managers with different philosophies. But I don't like the way the football club's been run in general in the last 6 or 7 years. A lot of United fans this season have had doubts about the club's ownership. They've had, a lot of doubts about Ed Woodward, of course. Obviously, we've been very, very sceptical